Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to see you all looking back at me from Mo's camera. And here we are again meeting to consider your submissions. And they are great. I've really studied them closely several times. And I'm looking forward now to moving on to the detailed examination of each of these submissions. So let's press on and get on with it. Let's do that. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Bill's first submission, and a wonderful submission it is too. He's found the magic number that a photographer always looks for. That is the number 3. 3 items, of which the closest is pin sharp. So well done to Bill. I do like to see that. Clearly the autumn has come, and these seed heads are hanging around to procreate. That's what he calls it, and that's very good. So I like that. It's very autumnal. Perhaps, just perhaps, Bill, if you had enough Photoshop power in your computer, I know you've got the skills, but I don't know if your computer has the gumption to do it. You could perhaps just warm that image a little bit. Just bring the colour temperature up sufficiently to make it slightly more autumnal. Moving on to the next one, which happens to be the second of Bill's submission. Now, I'm not sure if this is a photo of some rather delicious blackberries or of the scale bug on the right hand side, which is beautifully shown. I like that a lot. However, my eye is distracted from the fruits of the autumn to the creatures of the autumn, and so does it actually address mists and fruitfulness? Well, it tries to address fruitfulness, and it disappears off with a bug, which is rather nice. I like that. And Bill's called it I'm Off, and I can understand why. So thanks, Bill. Brenda number 1. Once again, some delicious looking blackberries. I can taste those. They're really, really swollen with sweet sugar, and nature's harvest. Very good indeed. Like it a lot. One of the tricks that perhaps you might have done, of course this may have been a photo taken on our walk over at the lock side there, but if you were doing this at home or under more control, let me say, you might consider having a spray can with some water or some glycerine solution, and just spray them so you've got droplets of water just glistening in the sun. So September, the month of fruitfulness. So yes, another good image. I do like Brenda's second submission. This poor lonely looking leaf all on its own, sitting there turning into these rich autumnal colours. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, the very suitable aperture that Brenda has chosen so as to throw the background into softness. Very well done. That's well chosen, it's well seen. I like that. A little bit of mist would be absolutely superb. And if you have the photoshopping power on your computer, I'll whisper to you one day in private how to make some mist come into the back of that photo, but don't tell anyone else. Brenda number 3. Now this is a stunning image. I do like the leading lines on these oaken planks as we sweep through the colours of autumn in the fallen leaves. Very much like that indeed. That's great. I'm just wondering whether one might take about a centimetre off the top of that image so as to lose the green entirely whilst retaining those leaves. And further, did you do any gardening? I mean, I picture you standing at the tree above this bench seat, shaking the tree to get the leaves to fall, and certainly you've succeeded. You're perfectly allowed, and there's no reason why you shouldn't turn some of those leaves over and give us the top sides rather than the back sides, particularly of the one in the bottom left-hand side. But I do like that. I like that a lot. Criticisms, perhaps it's a little busy. Perhaps we could lose the 2 leaves on the right-hand side, and perhaps by removing one of the closest leaves on the bottom left-hand side, it would have made it simpler. And I'll go back to a previous mission. Remember, less is more. It's a lovely photo. I like that a lot. I like the colour palette. I like the leading lines. I like the way that my eye is taken into that photo, and the whole thing rests very easily on my eye. So that's lovely. Yes, I do like that. Diana 1. Now this is one of those judges' challenges. Is it a tree? Is light coming through from the branches beyond? Have you somehow given it a long exposure and changed the zoom? Have you moved the camera as you did that? It's wonderful. I love it. It's really, really imaginative. So well done on that. Is it misty? Well, it might be. Is it fruitful? I'll leave that question unanswered, but it's certainly an intriguing image, and as such it ticks the box of being an intriguing photo, and therefore it gets the tick in that box. So well done on that. I like that a lot. I'm just going to enlarge it on my screen to see if I can discern anything further. Yes, maybe the darkness of the trunk of the tree in front of you is it has a hint of detail. And I'm just wondering if you were to layer, if you can do this, layer the original image with this image and erase somehow some of the top image, revealing the lower layer, the layer showing the detail in the trunk. That would be really a stunning image. It's still good, but I'm just wondering how to improve it even further. Does it address mists and fruitfulness? Okay, I'll move on. Diana 2. Great. I'm so pleased to see some still life. And the reference to the poem where swelling the gourd is included is very good indeed. Ticks the box of addressing the poem, ticks the box of addressing autumnal fruitfulness. I like it very much. Now the only improvement I think I would make is perhaps to tone down excuse me, to tone down the gourd in the top left hand corner. Perhaps also one could put that through a little bit of increasing the contrast so as to just make those orange gourds leap out of the page a little more, and you probably have that capability in the computer software that you have, whichever computer software you're using. There's a lot of potential in this photo. I like it very much indeed. The gourd in the front with the puddle of rainwater in it is on the third. The gourds in the back are giving me a pleasant feeling of three-dimensionality. The fact that there are words on there, and those words are written in what I take to be, I was going to say a foreign language, but it's not. It's courgette, something or other. Any words in photos, draw your eye to them. Clearly, if they are in a foreign script, you can't read them, so you're not distracted. If they're in English script, people's eyes, our eyes, will go to them, and the viewer will be, as it were, obliged to read them. But I like that very much indeed. Good to see a still life. Thank you for submitting that. That's a very, very good attempt. Diana 3. Once again, the magic number, 3 conquers. Beautifully arranged, with the shells, sharp, the lovely, what would you call that colour? It's not a russet, is it? It's almost a polished timber coloration, and the striations in that coming through. Very, very nice. I do like that. The magic number 3. However, they are somewhat centrally placed, and clearly you've done a bit of gardening. You've put the 3 right on top of a chestnut leaf, and I wonder if those 3 could have been off to one side a little more, and the chestnut leaf a little to the left, so as to give a tiny bit more structure to the photo. Nonetheless, it certainly is autumnal fruit, and I like that a lot. Very good. Good point of focus. Good choice of aperture. Had you chosen a wider aperture, smaller number, the grass in the background would have become even softer, that is to say, even more out of focus. But it certainly is going into softness and does give me that three-dimensionality that I do enjoy very, very much indeed. So well done on that one. Jeff, the autumn colours in the trees. It's very nice to see the trees changing colour as autumn grinds on. And in this case, if you have the capability in the software of just warming the image, just warming that a little to bring out some of the golden richness in the branches, that will be even better. Very pleasant. Jeff too. Terrific. I like the backlighting. You're a specialist at backlighting, and that's very good. I am enjoying that a lot. I particularly like the way you've chosen a wide open aperture, small number, wide open aperture, and thrown the background into softness. So we've got what's called bokeh, that is to say the little glints of light coming through the branches in the background are turned into circular, in this case, out of focus, very soft points of light, giving me a good impression of three-dimensionality. I like that a lot. Personally, I think I'd take about 2 centimeters off of the left-hand side, and that would make that compositionally even stronger. But I do like it. It's very, very well seen, and I love the backlighting technique. So well done on that. Very good indeed. Thanks for that one, Jeff. Jeff number 3, the drying berries on a plant of some description. Again, well seen. Sharp where it's meant to be sharp on the right hand lower third. The berry there is pin sharp, and everything else is drifting into softness, giving me a very good impression of three-dimensionality. The far distant trees and sky are soft, so that's helping the fruit to stand out. So I like that very much. That's a real achievement, Jeff. Well done. And you focused it pin sharp on the nearest berry. So well done on that one. I think that's a real achievement and good progress. So well done. Tick in the box for fruitfulness and a tick in the box for photographic skill and ability. So well done, Jeff. Good man. Keep it up. Janet 1. the lovely autumnal colours of this garden plant. I can't actually see any fruit, and there certainly isn't any mist. So perhaps, although the colours are autumnal, we're not really addressing mist and fruitfulness. However, we have got these beautiful changing colours, and I like that a lot. Now, had you chosen a wider aperture, perhaps the bushes in the background could have been softer, even softer. But it's quite difficult, and you're probably going to say to me that the aperture chosen was as wide as you could get it anyway. Oh no, looking at your EXIF data, it's 6.3. I think you could have chosen a smaller number, a wider aperture, and dropped that background into softness. Nonetheless, it's on the right hand side, and it's giving me autumnal colours, even though there isn't any fruit or mist. Good try. Thanks for submitting it. Janet 2. Now we're talking. This is lovely. I like this a lot. Autumnal colours, this leaf, which the camera never lies, was actually there, and if it wasn't, you're perfectly entitled to put it there. That's a very good technique. It's on the right hand third, just in the right position, and it's sharp, as is the rest of the image. And I don't know what sort of plant this is, but the little specks, the little hairs, the little detail on those leaves, that's also sharp. And again, it might have been useful to have chosen an even wider aperture. I can see you've chosen 3.5, which may well be the widest that you could achieve on that day using your camera. But it would be very good just to have dropped that green foliage into softness. Now there is a way of doing that if you have sufficient photo processing software to be able to isolate the autumnal leaf from the green, soften the green, and then put the two elements back together. But that's very well composed, that's very pleasant. Clearly, however, there's no mist, and clearly, however, there is no fruit. So, did it address the topic? Well, you tried. Thanks for putting it in. Janet 3. Now this I like. I like this very much. You've chosen a wide enough aperture, in this case 3.5, for the spider's web to look beautifully sharp and the background to be soft. So the spider's web stands out from the background, and that's really good. I like that. I like that a lot. And I don't know if our compatriots will notice, or it will show on the Sally Army projecting screen, but if you look at any one of the droplets, you can see, as it were, a little miniature world of the background upside down, which is absolutely delightful. I like that. Well composed. I think we can break the rule in this case of being on the third. What of this image, which part of this image would we wish to put on the third? Well, you've chosen to put it jolly nearly in the middle, so the middle, as it were, of the spider's web is in pretty much the middle of the frame, which is fine. The rules are there for breaking. They are not immutable, and I like this. However, and you know what I'm going to say, there's no mist, and there's no fruit. But I like the image. I like the image a lot. So thanks for submitting it. Mo number 1. And what I'm looking at here is a pin sharp leaf, beautifully backlit, with the background soft by choice of aperture and the pinpoints of light coming through the foliage at the back being turned into what we call bokeh. Bokeh is those pinpoints of light turned into circles or hexagons, depends on the lens, depends on the mechanism of your camera, highlighting this beautiful autumnal leaf. Is it autumnal? Well, it looks pretty green to me, so it's really not addressed autumn colours. Not that autumn colours were in your brief. Your brief was really mist and fruit. Now where's the mist? I missed the mist. Oh, did you get that? I missed the mist, Mo. And where's the fruit? Can't quite see. Good attempt. Try harder next time. Mo 2, adrift by my window. This is skillfully achieved. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, the camera never lies. So here's Mo's lounge curtain, drawn aside for us to see the woodland through his lounge window. It must be lovely to live on the edge of such a woodland. And these leaves very conveniently position themselves, drifting down in the gentle autumnal breeze, just where Mo wanted them. Isn't that skillful? Fantastic. But where's the mist, Mo? And where's the fruit, Mo? Hint, I can't see any. It's a good picture though. Quite like it. Quite like it. Mo number 3. Now we're into fruit. These are they chestnuts? Is it horse chestnut? I don't know. One's prickly fruit of some description, and they are beautifully positioned. We're getting a leading line here, aren't we, from the bottom left-hand corner through the first 2 fruits up to the top right-hand corner fruit, and it's splendid. I love the composition of that. The choice of aperture is suitable, very suitable, to throw the background into softness, allowing the fruits to stand out in 3-dimensionality. Great. Whether those look like dead flies stuck onto the fruit, or whether they're, I don't know, something else, I don't know. And perhaps a little bit of gardening would have been helpful, just to pick those off with a cocktail stick or a knitting needle or something. The sort of things that you carry in your camera bag all the time. Always carry 2 knitting needles and some cocktail sticks, as well as, of course, your camera and your flash gun and your tripod and your rain gear and your boots and everything else that we've learned to take with us. Just a bit of gardening there would have helped. But I do like that, and it is addressing fruitfulness of autumn. Beautifully composed, and there's a stroke around it. Now, Suzanne, what do I mean? Oh, you're not there on Wednesday, are you? Never mind, I'll say it because you can hear it on the internet later. The stroke is the very, very thin white line around the outside, which Mo has chosen to make a grey colour. Not brilliant white, not red and not green, but a mid-tone grey, and it looks great. I like that a lot, and it is addressing the fruitfulness of autumn, so well done. Roger 1, autumnal waterfall. I like it very much. Very good. Would make a very pleasant canvas, wouldn't it? I can imagine that hanging in your lounge on a canvas. Maybe take down the light green and bring up the autumnal colours in the trees beyond. The turquoise water, the green, the waterfall, very, very nicely seen, very beautifully composed. Top right hand corner's a bit bright, and I'd like that vignetted down, so that would improve it, I think. But Roger, where's the mist? And Roger, where's the fruit? So did it address the season of mists and mellow fruitfulness? It's a good picture line. Roger 2. Once again, an autumnal scene. I think the horizon is horizontal, although I may, if I take my ruler to it, find that it's slightly going downhill to the left, although it may be an optical illusion because of the strata in the rocks that are showing there. Autumnal colours, very pleasantly shown, a bit central, and I can't see any mist, and I can't see any fruit. So, good try. It's probably taken at midday. Not the best time to take photos. I know some photographers who put their cameras away at midday because the sun is so high and the shadows are so short. Take it in the golden hour, the hour after dawn or the hour before sunset, giving you long shadows and much more structure to your photos. Mist, there isn't any. Fruit, there isn't any. But thanks for submitting it. Roger 3, same again. I think this horizon is level with some beautiful autumnal colours, which perhaps using a little bit of photo trickery we could encourage a little bit bright on the top left hand corner, and by vignetting it one could bring that down. But again, I'm short of mist and I'm struggling to see any fruit, but thanks for submitting it. Suzanne, what a good girl you are. Look at that. Autumnal fruits, you've hit it on the head. Good girl. I love these purpley mauve fruits. I don't know what they are, whether they're edible or whether they're just there for decoration, framing the goods, and they're great. I love them. That's very good indeed. Now, I'm not too certain where you want me to look. Do you want me to look at the gourd in the middle, which is the brightest one, or the ones up in the top right hand corner, which are in fact even brighter? There's no focus of attention. I'm not saying the image is out of focus, it's beautifully focused, but there's no focus of attention. And again, perhaps a little bit of gardening, a little bit of rearranging might have achieved a stronger composition. But I like it a lot. I like the colours, I like the framing of it. Pity that there isn't any vignetting, but I know you can do vignetting. I don't want fuzzy edges, just vignetting, and a little bit of gardening in terms of rearranging the composition. As it is, it's getting towards being a strong composition. Have you addressed the season of mists and mellow fruitfulness? Well, you have. You have these mellow fruits in these lovely autumnal colours. I like it very much. Well done. I'm just going to look, and I can't get your EXIF data, so let's move on. And Suzanne 2. Now, I don't know what this is, this fruit, but it's certainly an autumnal fruit, and it's certainly very intriguing. I don't know if it's edible or whether it's going to hatch into something. I don't know. It's a little bit central, Suzanne, and I'd ask you to draw back from that, put it on the third, include a little more of its environment, and give me some sense of where this fruit is hanging. I very much like the honey, is it, or is it dew on the side of it, or has it rained? I like that a lot, and that's giving me lots and lots of interest. And I love the roundness of this. Looking at the fruit itself, on the left hand lower side, I can see the glistening of the early morning mist, and in the droplet there I can see some reflection of what's going on in the surroundings. I think that's got a lot of potential. So I want you to go back there and take it again several times from different angles and different lighting conditions, and see what you can do with it, because I think that's a cracking good photo with lots and lots of potential. Have you addressed mists and mellow fruitfulness? Yes, you have. Well done. Have you vignetted it? You might have. You might have. Very, very subtle vignetting. Good girl. Have you stroked it? Could put a stroke round it, couldn't it? But I like that. Well done. Well submitted, thank you. Suzanne 3. Okay. Where do you want me to look? Do I look at the nearest bale of straw? Or do I take the line of the bales of straw, taking me up from the bottom left-hand side, off to the right-hand side of the image? And when I get there, what am I looking at? Well, there's no mist, and there's no fruit. So it's a picture of a row of bales of straw. Okay. Thanks for submitting that. Terry 1. Now for some reason this is showing up quite small on my screen. I need to enlarge it. But in doing so I can see that we have here the fruits of autumn, and this particular plant, whatever it is, don't know what it is, don't recognise the leaves. And I like the way that you have chosen to arrange those, or position your camera so as to get almost a leading line from the bottom left-hand corner up diagonally across the image. And so a strong composition. So you have ticked the box of autumnal fruit, and there's no mist, but we're not in charge of the weather. So yes, good image. It looks to be a little soft, but it may be that the image has been reduced, JPEG'd, and lost some of its sharpness. Perhaps vignetting it, particularly in the top right-hand corner, would just hold it in a little. Perhaps moving your camera to give a lower point of view, so looking up at the fruits, and perhaps focusing, pinpoint focus on the nearest fruit, so as to give us that three-dimensionality and that recession as the fruits recede from the viewpoint. Thank you for submitting that. It does tick the box of autumnal fruit. Terry number 2. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all learn from. Look at the way that Terry has positioned his camera so as to focus pin sharply on the nearest berries. The others recede into softness as it goes further and further away from us. I'm not too certain where Terry wants me to look, because on first appearance it looks like 3/4 of the image is out of focus, and that's what Terry wants us to see. He wants us to see the nearest row of berries at the foot of the image there, which are pin sharp. I like that. It's almost framing something, and I want something in that frame. This spider's web, is building a frame, and I'm left wanting something in that frame. Perhaps different focus on the camera, so as to focus perhaps on those central 2 berries and not worry too much about those at the foot of the image. May have improved it. But it's well seen, it's autumnal fruit, and it does address the seasonal challenge. So well done on that one, Terry. Terry 3. Autumnal colours. Beautifully captured. Superb choice of aperture, leaving the background to go soft, and just a hint of bokeh. Now there's a bright stripe on the left-hand side that's worrying me a little, because this bough of beautiful autumnal tree leaves is taking me off to the left-hand side of the image, and the brightness of the sunlight coming through the trees is just distracting me a little. However, It's a well chosen standpoint, it's well exposed and it's well focused, but there's no mist and there's no fruit. Well, not that I can see anyway. So thanks for submitting it, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, that's your last one. Mist and mellow fruitfulness. Did we achieve it? Have we addressed the topic? Mist? Well, there wasn't any. Sorry, I'm not in charge of the weather. But mellow fruitfulness, a lot of you have achieved that in several of your photos. Now those fruits don't need to be blackberries or gourds or oranges or apples or pears. They just need to be fruits, the product of the plant. Have you achieved that? Well, a lot of you have, but you needed to. Now, one does need to pay attention to the challenge. Clearly, if last year I had said autumn, then all of the images would have been accepted. But I didn't say autumn. I said mists and mellow fruitfulness. So that's where we should be focusing our attention. So well done if you did that. The reverse of that, if I may say, if you're doing a photo competition, either in our club or in Hadley or in any club, RPS, if you're going to put a title on an image, use the title to focus the judge's attention on what you want to show in that photo. So if, for instance, we have a wonderful photo of some autumnal fruit, some blackberries, and a rather cunningly taken bug in that photo, if you want the judge to look at the bug, give him a title such as I'm Off or Hobbit or some such. If you want the judge to look at the fruit, make your title fruitful. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Look at the words in the challenge. Mo very kindly, and thanks to Mo, because much though I tease him about it, he put the poem there for you. You were able to hear the words, read the words, and contemplate what was this challenge about. And it wasn't easy, was it? Not least to get any misty pictures, which didn't seem to exist in our neck of the woods in this past month. But well done for trying, and well done for getting some mellow fruit in your images. Now, because of the way that some people misinterpreted the title, it's made it a bit easier for me this month, to whittle down the winners. So if I take up all of the images which don't have either mist or mellow fruitfulness, I've got fewer to choose between. That's a shame on the one hand, and it's a learning point on the other hand, but that's what I've got to do. And I think I'm going to come down to a very easy winner that has included mellow fruitfulness. Mellow, we're in autumn. Fruitfulness, I'm looking for the product of the sun during the summer. Well, you know which image I'm going to choose, and I'm sure we all have chosen the same one. And it is, I'll tell you Wednesday.